What does it take to stay on the same page? Let's talk about it right after this.
Let's talk about love and marriage the way that God intended. Life experience, here we share it. The No Fruit Podcast. Tune in from any platform. No Fruit Podcast. Will help your spirit transform.
All right, we're going to jump all the way into this real quick because if you notice, I did not allow the music to stop because I want to jump on the topic that Kafi just offered up to each and every one of us, talking about reading between the lines. Now, I want you to understand something. When she kept saying that or talking about that, my mentality was, there's a TV show about that, right? But it's called Between the Lions. It's a kid's show. And it is a reading comprehension TV show for children between the ages of 4 and 7. Here's the reason why this is important and how it connects with what Kafi stated in accordance to what I asked you a moment ago. What does it take to stay on the same page? See, unfortunately, sometimes we read between the lines and we're reading something and we're either want to jump ahead and jump to another page, or we're reading it and we're not comprehending what is being mentioned at that time. So what happens is that there is a level of miscommunication. There's a level of where we could be and could appear to be misaligned in what our true objective, purpose, goal might be. So when it comes to understanding whether or not we're on the same page, are we able to read the same line similarly and understand that, hey, you know what? We don't need to jump to the next page, because sometimes what appears that we're reading the same line. So I'm going to use just an idea, right? If, I'm thinking of a Bible verse, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, right? Now, it sounds like it could be straightforward. It sounds like it could be. But depending on what you've learned as a child, depending on what you've learned in school, where you had if you were in church, what church edifice you were attending, it depends on who was teaching it. And if you decide to go to college or university or whatever it is, some type of Bible school, whatever it might be, they give you all these other angles based off of for God so loved the world. And unfortunately, our influences changes the definition of something that could appear to be so straightforward. And so now we are listening to someone else talk about, hey, for God so loved the world. Now we want to be so analytical that we miss the mark. So when Kafi speaks about body language and whatever it is, I can't tell you how many times I was so far off that I missed the mark. And there have been times most recently where I've just sat there because I was so quick to respond and not to really listen. I was so quick to interject my opinion or whatever it is. I wasn't paying attention. And so it has been such a constant effort that I have to put in to make sure that we're on what some might consider the same page. And here's a reality when it comes to our situation. Maybe it's the same for yourself. You might literally be on the same page. You might really be in the same sentence. You can even be on the same word. And for God so loved the world. What does that word love mean? Love, loved. For everyone, it means something different. That emotion is different. That logical, analytical perspectives of that word are different with each and every person. What are your true influences? And so if you don't know necessarily how that word affects the other person, because there are some people that won't say I love you because that word means something else. When I was a child, and I'm gonna say in my youth, but let me say something like, you know, I really love my race car. I love it. I love the color. I love this toy or whatever it is. And my grandmother would tell me, you don't love inanimate objects. You only love people. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. But at the same time, I would not hear the word love come out of her mouth to even say, grandson, I love you. So what was the value of that word love to her? And so we look at that same, being on the same page and reading the same sentence and seeing the same word. That one word, what does it truly mean? What's the real weight of it? And what hoops and loops, essays, games, whatever it is, what do people need to do in order for them to experience that word? And that's something that for over 25 years of us being married has been a challenge for Kafi and I to understand that for one another. Because, and I only speak for myself, because I didn't always take the time to understand her true value on that word. Because of maybe what I was looking for, what I expected, may not have been what she was willing to provide, because she may not have been able to express it, or it cost maybe the cost was too much to even say it. And I'm using it as an example. That doesn't mean that my wife don't tell me she loves me. She tells me she loves me all the time. That's my girl. You know, so when it comes to that, what is it that your partner, what do they have to pay? Because God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. That was a payment that he had to give. Like, there was a sacrifice that he gave in order for our sins to be paid for. So what is it? Now, again, it's not the same value, right? You know, we're not telling you to give up your firstborn, Abraham style. Like, we're not saying any of that stuff, right? But what price do you have to pay to even say that word love? And sometimes it could get cloudy because we don't always know that price. We don't know the hurt, the pain, the joy, the sorrow, the enthusiasm, whatever it is, because we don't know what that meant for that individual. And in order for someone to say, I love you, how deep down inside do they have to dig to get to that point? So my communication with Kafi has had to grow over and over and over again, understanding more and more of her desires and her dreams and her aspirations, even if it felt like it did not align with mine. And it doesn't have to. I always thought we had to be on the exact same page, everything. Like, you know, we on page 53, we see the number 3, the same font. You know, we had to be that exact at one point in my life. But I understand now, as I get older and more experiences, that is really okay that I might see the font in Helvetica and she sees in Times Roman, you know, whatever, Times New Roman, whatever it might be. But we're on the same page. And we see things differently, more ornamentally, whatever the situation is. Are you able to understand where that person is coming from? And once you understand where that person is, once you understand where you are, where does your love really go from that standpoint? So what you've been getting over the last couple of episodes has really been a walkthrough of our life, our experiences, our ups, our downs some things that we are challenged with on a daily basis today, or a situation we might have to deal with, 10, we old enough now, 20 years ago. And so we encourage each and every one of you to understand what it takes to endure time, to endure the moments of growth, to see the seasons change. Because right now my hair is changing major colors, like I'm in fall for real. But are you really aligned? And are you okay that the vision that you both see, those lines that you're reading, don't always have to mean the exact same thing? Allow people to be their individual, authentic selves, and how that can be brought together. And also in that, how moments like that can keep the spark in your marriage, in your friendship, in your relationships, even with coworkers. Yes, I'm talking about from a marriage perspective, but even when you're dealing with your coworkers or clients or vendors or whatever the situation might be, you have to try to look at things from more than one perspective and be more understanding, compassionate in your everyday dealings. But we're going to go back to the marriage thing. How does this ensure that your spark stay alive? And we'll talk to you just a little bit later.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the No Fruit Podcast, where we bring you fruitful conversations, ripened wisdom, and love that's deeply rooted. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who could use a little inspiration in their day. Until next time, stay rooted in love, and remember, every seed you plant today shapes the fruit of tomorrow.